Picture this. You've been driving for hours. The only sound is the heavy, hypnotic hum of your tires on the asphalt. Your eyelids feel like lead, and the darkness outside your windshield is just absolute. You are completely exhausted. So you pull off at one of those isolated blue highway signs, desperate for a cheap bed, entirely vulnerable in the middle of nowhere. In today's Explainer, we are breaking down the grim, unspoken reality of late-night motel stops.
Have you ever actually done that? Pulled off some pitch-black, empty highway at 2 in the morning? You know the feeling. Put yourself in those shoes for a second. You just need a few hours of sleep, you don't need a glamorous resort, but that sheer exhaustion, it can totally blind you to just how isolated your environment really is. Today, we're going to examine 3 terrifying verified accounts from travelers who found themselves trapped in the eerie silence of roadside motels. And more importantly, we're going to extract the crucial lessons you need to survive if you ever find yourself in their situation.
Part 1. The Man of Many Voices.
So let's look at this solo driver making a grueling trip from New York all the way down to Tennessee. He pushes himself to do the drive in one shot, which is always a risk. By 1 a.m., he checks into this run-down, isolated Virginia motel, taking a second-floor room way down near the far end. Just as he finally lies down to rest, he hears this deeply disturbing argument through the paper-thin walls next door. It sounds like a high-pitched woman and a really angry man with a deep voice. But as he's lying there listening, a terrifying realization hits him. The timing of their back and forth was suspiciously perfect. There was absolutely no overlap. The chilling truth? There was no couple next door. It was literally just one man, flawlessly mimicking a woman's voice and a man's aggressive tone, having a totally unhinged conversation with himself.
All of a sudden, that bizarre argument stops. Just dead silence. You know that heavy, suffocating silence? It completely took over the room. And then came the knocks. Slow, deliberate knocks right on the shared wall, followed by a muffled phrase spoken in this creepy, almost playful voice that was clearly waiting for an answer. "I hear you in there." Panicking, the traveler grabbed the TV remote and just cranked the volume to drown it out.
Talk about dread building methodically in the dark. After the knocks, he hears a door creak open outside. Then, he feels the literal vibration of footsteps walking along the shared balcony. He slowly creeps up to his window, peering through just a tiny crack in the blinds, and instantly locks eyes with the man. The guy's face was pressed right against the glass. The man then starts aggressively hammering on the door, all while loudly mimicking different characters, including this bizarre, exaggerated southern accent.
The traveler immediately calls the front desk, and a clerk eventually comes up and moves him to a downstairs room. Now, the erratic mimicking and loud knocking upstairs was terrifying enough, right? But the absolute worst part comes later. The traveler wakes up in his new room in the middle of the night. He looks through the blinds and sees the exact same man. But this time, the guy is just silently pacing past his new window, completely calm, walking back and forth in the pitch black.
Part 2. The Coordinated Threat.
Fast forward to 2022. We have a family of women, a college student, her sisters, her stepmom, and her grandma, who pull over at 8 p.m. to grab some sleep during a long road trip back to Texas. 2. That is the number of times one of the sisters made a very simple but almost fatal mistake. She said their room number out loud. The first time was right at check-in, standing in front of a loitering man in a black knitted sweater. The second time was when they returned from getting food around 10 p.m. That exact same man was now sitting in an unlit corner of the lobby by the TVs, whispering on his cell phone as he heard their room number for the second time. Just 20 minutes later, the terror completely peaks. The stepmom opens her door to set a trash bag outside, and she finds herself face to face with a man. He is silently pinned against the wall right beside her door. He doesn't look startled at all. He just stares dead at her, and then calmly walks into the unbooked, empty room that directly separated the family's 2 suites. This wasn't some random weirdo. It was a highly coordinated trap. The family immediately realizes something is very wrong, demands a refund, and bolts. And as they flee the building, they see the full scope of what they just escaped. Step 1, that original loiterer from the lobby was stepping out of the elevator. Step 2, a second man was out in the parking lot testing car door handles, who immediately signals the others. Step 3, a third man emerges from the darkness, and all 3 start walking toward the family's car. They manage to speed out of that lot just in the nick of time.
Part 3. The Unseen Guest.
Okay, so imagine being 11 hours into an exhausting drive to Florida. A couple pulls into a completely dead motel parking lot at 1 a.m. They check into room 5 on the ground level. The boyfriend realizes he left his phone charger in the car, so he steps back out into the pitch black lot. As he closes his car door, his heart nearly stops. Standing right by the cracked open door of their motel room is a large man wearing an unseasonably heavy, long trench coat. The guy smiles and says in this chillingly soft, really off-putting voice that he was just staying upstairs, going for a stroll. The boyfriend politely brushes him off, hurries inside, and instantly deadbolts the door.
10 agonizing minutes. That is how long the boyfriend spent lying completely flat on the floor in the dark. He had crawled over to the window and moved the curtain just a fraction of an inch to look outside. The man in the trench coat hadn't left. He was standing rigidly directly in front of their motel room door, just staring at it in total dead silence.
Unable to just sit there in silent panic, he wakes his girlfriend, Julie. He begs her to look so she'll actually believe him. She crawls over, peeks through that tiny slit in the curtain, and whispers the most terrifying phrase you could hear in that moment. He's not there. The boyfriend breathes a sigh of relief, right? But then he looks for himself. He realizes the horrifying truth. The man hadn't left at all. He had just backed up slowly across the dark parking lot and was now standing perfectly still, staring directly into their window.
The couple obviously didn't sleep a wink, just lying there listening to faint footsteps outside all night. But the ultimate twist of isolation didn't hit them until the next morning. When they went to drop off the key and report the guy in the trench coat, the front desk clerk just looked totally horrified. She told them they were literally the only guests booked in the entire motel that night. She didn't have any security cameras. That man was not a guest going for a stroll. He was an absolute intruder.
Part 4. Surviving the Night.
So, after hearing these grim, incredibly suspenseful accounts, what do we actually do with this information? Well, here is your survival toolkit pulled directly from these real encounters. First, and this is huge, never say a room number out loud in public areas. Someone is always listening. Second, maintain absolute hyper-awareness in lobbies. Pay attention to who is just loitering in the dark corners. Third, lock your doors instantly the second you enter and always check those peepholes before you open up for anything. Fourth, you have got to trust your gut. If the atmosphere shifts and something feels off, don't rationalize it. Pack up immediately. And finally, saving a few bucks on a cheap room is literally never worth risking your personal safety.
We've seen exactly how fast an innocent stop to rest your eyes can devolve into a coordinated ambush or a dead silent staring contest with a complete stranger in the dark. You can't let sheer exhaustion override your basic survival instincts. So I'll leave you with this. The next time you are driving exhausted on some dark highway and you see that lonely blue sign flickering off in the distance, will you keep driving or will you stop?